Alrighty then. Well, as you can see, I yet changed my camera view again. The camera's further back, but it's still on my bar. I don't have a tripod, so it's a little more sturdy. It's a little more level. I had to actually move my my easel, so I straightened out the easel so you got more of a straight on look at the board. Still a little skewed. This is still the scrunch in version, but it's all right. I don't have to shut my black curtains because you guys can't see it. So hopefully this will work out. We'll soon see. All right. Okay. Let me, in case anybody does pop on, make sure the sound is down here. Hello, Jessica. I see you. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. Looks a little darkish, but I think we should be okay. There's a little bit of a shade here, probably because I got to adjust that light a little bit. And that takes care of that, don't it? Okay. So I still think everything's a little bit better than it was. When you see me reach my arm back like that, I'm adjusting the focus on the camera. All right, I think we're okay, somewhat. All right. Like I said, I had to move a few things around. I took a barn, one of my mini barns. I decided to, I'll show you how I did this. All right, I photocopied the barn, printed it out, taped it up, traced it. Okay. There's some things I took out. There's some things I adjusted. Then I just, you color the back. Took a marker and darkened and, traced out the barn. I took a rake brush and I did some shading or whatnot. So it's not going to be super accurate, but that's not what I'm looking for. It should blend in with the rest of the painting well. All right. The only thing I didn't add was I was going to add a pond in here somewhere. I can probably sketch that in real quick. Maybe I'll put one in here like this. Something like that, right in the bottom here. So when I go to painting it, hopefully I won't forget and like shift myself over. That's one of the drawbacks for doing this, is that, you see the side of my face here and I tend to lean in a little bit, but it all depends. As long as I keep myself mindful of it, I won't block your view of this. All right. Hey, Sonia, how are you? Alrighty. I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. So we'll get this started. I got some, let me get this right. I usually get my browns confused here. I think this is umber. Yes, it is. Burnt umber, olive green, yellow ochre, titanium white, cobalt blue, and that's just straight black. All right. I haven't been painting in quite a while because I really didn't have an idea to paint anything, and off the brush pretty good because I know I didn't rinse it off too well with the glycerin. Glycerin and water, the glycerin, even if it gets hard on the brush, water takes it right off, and your brush is pretty decent. So, device is acting crazy. I don't know why, but we're 5.5 minutes in. We should be all right. I don't think you guys faded out. Yeah, it did do a jump cut. I just seen it. All right, let's start off with the clouds. So if it does act a little squirrely, blame it on the old internet. It's a beautiful day out, so I don't know why it's acting crazy. I'm just take a little glycerin really lightly. I'm gonna just put it here where I want the clouds. I'm gonna go slightly below the tree line, of course. When you add the tree line in, you want a little bit of the cloud. All right, all right. I use masking tape, 2-inch wide masking tape to cut and mask the barn. I did a little bit of taping across of it so I can get a nice separation of the hills in the main ground. But everything can be adjusted, more or less. All right, I'm gonna get a see if I can get a wider fan brush. This'll do. This'll work. It's just a regular old fan brush. Okay. All right, we got the white cake down there, so let's take a little bit of this blue. And I'll play around in the white area. We'll just, even though I have blue here, I'll just take it and we're just gonna kind of play around it in the blue a little bit, just like this. Even though I'm doing it in cloud shapes, I'm going to, this is actually the sky, but I'm gonna do it in wispy little shapes so it would appear the clouds are kind of making their way through in there a little bit. Not much blue, just you know, you're just kind of waving it around. And I'll fine tune more of this as I go along here. Like I said, I'm going a little bit below the tree line here. I'll probably put some of this up in here like this. I'm gonna wipe off the brush and just wave this stuff around. Just let it blend and bleed through. You can just press and get those little wavy looking things happening there. It's gonna mix and mingle with the white once I pop it in there really good. Like so. Okay. Clean off the brush. You can use other colors if you wish. I can get away with using the yellow ochre because you see yellow with a little bit of brown in it, so it won't necessarily turn too green on you. It's up to you. Now just pure white, and I'm gonna mix the white in with some of that blue, and we'll kind of mop it around in there. And I'll just wisp little shapes here and there. Get some more titanium white. We're putting it right into the white itself. Now I'm coming over a cold, so the more I talk, most likely the more raggedy I will sound. So bear with me. It won't be like the last video. The last video was terrible. But I was told not to delete it, so I didn't delete it. And I'm just rubbing the white into the blue mixture there. Okay. And you just keep blending. You can go in many directions. You're just mainly just blending all this stuff in. Once again, I'm going below the little tree line there. I still see where the glycerin is. It's all right. I kind of like what I see. I'm gonna take a soft brush. I'm gonna blend all of this together. I don't have to really. I can just keep it like this and just keep blending it with this brush if I wanted to, but I'll smooth all of this out. Keep the cloud work a little busy. All right. I'll take the 2-inch Hake brush. Cloud's still very wet, and I'll just lightly go. Now I'm not gonna press too hard. I like the flow of the clouds, but I am gonna smooth out everything. Usually a quick X strokes will do it. And it depends how much detail you want or how smooth you want it. I want to smooth it out a little bit. So they just keep their basic shape. It's just that you're just taking the line marks out of it. And very simple way to do nice movement in clouds. Okay. See, now you really don't know what starts and what begins. Okay, it still gives the impression of sky going through there. You got the clouds doing their thing, even though we put the blue on first. Okay. I don't really have to do too much more to that than what you see here. And just smooth it out really nice. Hake brush is extremely soft. Okay, very pliable brush. All right. When you get a Hake brush wet and dry it off, it dries ridiculously fast because of the thin hairs. I have a series of them, a 1-inch, 2-inch, and a 3-inch wide Hake brush. And I had them for many years. And basically, you can use them for oil and acrylic. You just rinse them off really good. They do stain, okay, but I mean, they still, you can see, as long as you can do stuff like this with it. As long as you can do stuff like this with it.
Allison sent me a thing about the shooting that happened down here on Watson.
All right.
That happened around 4:30.
Today?
Uh-huh. Guy was at a cookout and stuff down there, and a car pulled up, and they shot him in the arm and somewhere else too.
Great. We'll be hearing about it in the news. Oh, this is just wonderful. As you guys can see, inner city people, boy, you bring them together with a fire and some food. Incredible. This is why I stay in the house. Ugh, just ridiculous. Losing their life over something stupid, I bet. Hey Maria, how are you? She said she had fun this weekend and she's doing a fishing pond. Very good. Oh, let me get on with this. Now that I heard the news of the day. All right, as you can see, the color, very simple, blue and white, you know, okay. Let's get on with the pond. Let's do the pond right now. I really don't want to glycerin the pond, so what I'll do is just take a nice coating of water instead. Because I want the pond to dry. This is gonna take a minute to dry. I just want the pond to dry, so we're gonna just do a coat of water. Okay. All right. I'll just take the same brush, and what we'll do, we'll just do the stylized water thing today. I'll take some white. All right, and I'll put the white right here in the center. I'll stand back so you guys can pretty much see what I'm gonna do here. The white will be more or less right here. All right. That should be enough. We'll take a little bit of cobalt blue, and we'll go from this corner. We'll keep it pretty somewhat dark here. Come here. Okay. And remember, I'm using water. I'm not using glycerin. I'm gonna just do like one of these numbers, just like this. Okay. Then we'll take the cobalt. We'll flip the brush around. Cobalt's not really a super dark blue anyway. And we'll just come here and we'll bring it right into the center of where that white is and keep it pretty. Something like that. Okay. We'll go back into our white a little bit. Right here in the center where it will be white. white, and we'll just kind of brush it out that way. Once again, once this settles and dries, once it's there, it's there. I'll get a little more white. We'll put it right there in the center. We'll just work that in there like that. And then we'll fade it out like so. All right. I can actually get some, well, let's just do this. Let's wipe it. Let's get rid of that white. We'll keep a nice contrast between the blue and white. So we'll make the blue a little darker. Same brush. I just want a darker blue right in here. And you just kind of fade it into that white a little bit. And do the same thing here. Let's borrow some from here and put it here. Just like so. Do it quickly while it's wet. All right. So it's glycerin on the top, water on the bottom. That blue is not the darkest blue in the world, so just be mindful of that. I could take this same brush very lightly and coming across very light. Going from the dark into the white. Okay. You can have it travel a little bit. Okay. Same thing in this direction. Add some nice little water lines very lightly. Just like that. All right. And just keep it just like this. So you got your nice little water thing happening there. Okay. Very easy way to do some water real quick. All right. All right. Let's get with this up here. There are a few ways to do this also. I'm going to, because I really don't want a lot of the white to show, but we'll do the background. I wanted more of a hilly, kind of a tree-filled hill here. Okay. So let's get, we'll use the sponge because the sponge is much quicker. I'm going to probably use a very dark color and then go from there. So I'll tap in a little bit with the sponge, and you can see the sponge here. All right. We'll get a little touch of black. We'll put it right in here. Get some green. Pop that green in there. You need plenty of it. All right. And probably a touch of brown in that too. Slight touch of brown. I need it a little darker, a little more black. I don't want it to overdo it with the black. Let's get a little more green in there. But I want to get a nice, interesting tree line, really. All right. So we'll start from up around here. Now I got to go above where you see the blue here. All right, so nice little light touch like that. Because you want to make it to where you can see a little bit of the sky. And you put something a little higher up in there. All right. I'll just take and just go up above here. It's going to be a lot more solid down below here. All right. But right now what I'm really am interested in is a very nice tree line to where you'll see some of the something like that up there. And coming down, it's going to be much darker. We're going to fill this up with color here. I really don't want too much of the, get some more green, get some more black, pop it in there. I don't want too much of the white to show through, but I want patterns. I want want the I want texture through a lot of this. That's what I'm trying to get at. So even though it would be easier to just brush color on, but you won't have the texture. So sometimes I just go through a little bit of extra because I really want the texture to come through, because it makes it look like woods and just large trees going through there. And I want it a little darker toward the bottom anyway. Yeah, as long as I got enough cloud, interesting tree shapes going through there. All right, we're all good. Get some more of the green. Probably grab a little bit of brown, get some black, pop it in there, mix it. This sponge is dry, it's not wet. It's your option to have it either wet or dry, up to you. Your preference, whether you want the sponge wet or dry to do this. Okay. Definitely want it darker on the bottom. Having it very dark on the bottom gives you a sense of depth where the tree line would really be. All right. And you'll see. Somewhat convincing. That's pretty good. Not too bad. Okay. All right. I'm going to rinse off the sponge. I'm going to add some trunks in there also. Now I'm going to get away with adding trunks in there. There's a couple ways you can do it. I'll show you both ways. Let's put the sponge out of camera, out of view for a second. Let's take a knife and I'll just add some trunks. I missed a spot. Hold on. I missed a spot. My bad. I don't think I have it. Well, I'll just invent some green. Hold on. I'll take some of this yellow, some of this blue. We'll mix it in there. We'll make a green real quick. There we go. We'll make a green. Pop some black in there. I missed a spot. Right here. I missed a spot. Oops. There we go. Okay. I think we're good everywhere else. I don't need to embellish anything else. I think we're good. Sometimes it happens. And it's good for me to kind of test out this new camera angle, make sure I'm not totally in the way. All right. Oh man, I just dropped my sponge on the ground, didn't I? Yep. That's all right, I got about 3-4 more. All right, let's take the edge of a palette knife and we'll kind of scratch in some branches like this. And we'll put some down below like that. And we'll get some higher up like this, and maybe we'll have it branch off like that. Now be careful how you do them, because if you add too many in one spot, your eye's going to gravitate toward that. We'll put some up here like this, and we'll have some go crooked like that. All right. I'm coming around. We'll add some here, there, here and there. I don't have to go right from the bottom of the pop some in here like this, and have one go crooked like that, go way up in the air like this, and have something branch off like that. Something like that. All right. Okay. Since I knocked one sponge on the ground, I can't even find it. It's somewhere down there. I'll find it in the next couple of days. We're not worried about it. Let's get another sponge. I don't particularly care for this one. I like the pattern, but well, I'll deal with it. I like the pattern. We'll try something with it. Let's go with we'll go with a little bit of ochre. We'll get some ochre. We'll put the ochre right there. Get a little touch of white with the ochre. Okay. And we'll get a little touch of blue, not too much. This is going to give it a different type of green anyway. It's a small touch of ochre. There we go. Now it's got a little water mixed in it because I wet the sponge. Okay, this should give you some very interesting leaf shapes. All right, so we'll kind of play with it up here on the top. We'll kind of give it a nice playful little tap. There we go, just like that. Come down here, come down below a little bit. I don't want to make it too obvious. Okay, we get some colors playing around in there. Just tap them in there. Come up by the barn here. Yeah, I'm trying to make it visible, but not blatant, not gaudy. Just enough to, just like that. Obscure some of the branches. Let's get a little more white, a little ochre, a little touch of blue. More white in there. Like I say, the paint's gonna be a little thin anyway because of the water that's inside of the sponge. A nice light little tap here and there. And we'll come out here and add some love in there like this. Come up here. And it's just a touch, really. See? Make sure you have some gaps of some gaps of dark in there. These are it's a little bit lighter, so I'll add some of these here to kind of match it up there. And I'm just going over the ochre with some of that. And we're cool just like that. Very fast, very quick, somewhat realistic there. Rinse off the brush or the sponge real good. All right. Make sure the sponge actually gets placed back where it belongs. I have a series of sponges with different shapes. You can experiment with them. Sometimes you just take a blank piece of paper and just dab and see what you come up with. All right. And if you like the pattern, if you like what you see, awesome. Okay, you keep it. All right. Okay, but as you can see bits of clouds going through the leaves areas. All right. So it still looks like it's incorporated into the painting itself. All right. Okay. All right. As I'm checking things here, I think we're good. This is almost dry. All right. And the similar colors. Okay. You know, got your little light in the middle here, whatnot. It's just representing just the water. I think I got essentially what I'm looking for that. Let's block in all this white area here. Okay. I'm still looking. I'm thinking about something. Until this dries up, I really can't do much, but I am thinking about something here. Maybe I'll tackle it after I block in the land. And I just used the tape just to block in the land area, as you can see. All right. I tend not to make my land area too level, have a little bend. Everything's just for the sake of being interesting. All right. So I rarely keep it flat across unless it calls for it. I usually put a little dip, a little curve in there, subtle or whatever, but you know, just make things interesting. That's all. You can pretty much have your land any way you wish. All right, but it kind of works for me doing it this way. All right. The land's not going to really be even anyway for the shape of the barn. It's got different planes, it's got a little hill here, so it just adds interest to your composition. Okay. All right. Let's gather. I just want to block all of this in, so I want it darker, but I don't necessarily want it. I don't want it black. Let's go back into our hooker's green. Oh, let's just put the hookers, yeah, we'll put it back here. We'll put some there for later. We'll just put a nice batch of it here. And this is just for blocking that area in. I'll go back to my all-purpose 1.5 inch brush for it. We'll go into a little cobalt, mix it right in with the green, some of this black, and then we'll mix it all in there, darken it up. Now, as I darken this, it's actually not dark enough. It's actually not enough black. I'll just put the black to the side here. This is Artist Loft Black. It's a thick black paint. And just use a little bit of black, not much. Just to darken it, gray it out a little bit. Okay. I don't want to add really too much water to it. And I'll just come up as close as I can up here. Even if I go above it a little bit, it's fine, as long as I cover all of that up. Then bring it downward. Once again, I'm just blocking this stuff in. If I want to lighten this up, I'll do it later, obviously, in the details. Just block it in. All right. That's all you're doing is blocking it all in. And it helps your eyes out too, because you're not just looking at a blank white canvas. You kind of fill it up with color. Okay, we got a weird oval thing happening here with the lake itself. So we'll just come here and add that quick oval, right? Just like that. Something like that. Okay, and we're gonna come back around. Just like that. And you block it all in. Block in your little creek. I'm hoping I got enough. I should, in theory. Once again, I'm just blocking it all in. We'll borrow some from here and we'll put it down here like that. No big deal. You're just, once again, just blocking all of this stuff in. Doesn't have to look perfect. You're just filling it all up with color for right now. Hopefully, you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is a 16 by 18 canvas panel. I'll be going back to my watercolor paper. I just bought a pad, 11 by 15. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna double layer the pads. Even though it's 300 weight watercolor paper, it's still watercolor paper. It's still gonna bow a little bit. So I'll just glue two together. And they're smaller, a little more manageable. And I'll be doing more or less lessons with them. I'll try to gear it to single lessons, maybe. We'll see. And if I have to do something special or a paid request or something, then I'll use the boards. All right, so it almost looks like a golf course now with a barn on top of it. So this just establishes overall what the painting is going to somewhat look like. You add your hills, your grass, or whatever you want to add to it. We've blocked this off pretty much. Got to add more of a curve here. Let's add a little more of a curve there. Okay, we'll fill that in. It's all right. And this stuff will dry quickly because there's no glycerin. It's just water and pure paint. I think this is just pure paint, so I'll just leave it alone, let it air dry, and she'll be fine. All right. Okay. All right. So, this scenery came out of my head, okay. So it's just whatever happens with it. All right, okay. I'm checking things out here. I could, and I think I will. I think I'll start on the barn because I want to let this dry. I can mess with the barn now. Because if I want to put anything in front of the barn has to be finished. It's not going to take too long for the barn. I'll take an X-Acto knife and I'll peel this thing away. Just be careful with that X-Acto knife. Please be careful, because once you cut yourself, depending on how sharp it is, you won't even know that you cut yourself until you bled all over your painting. So just be careful. All right. So the key to it is to paint your barn in a way to where it matches with the rest of the painting. Okay. And we'll deal with that right now. Even though you see me use the tape for the barn, you can paint animals the same way. I think I did the moose like that. Whatever animal paintings I did, I think I did I did the blue jays like this. Most of the animal paintings I've done like this. I've added the tape. I've taped them up. Okay. And usually when you do things like this, I'll show you here. You have to print these things out conducive to the size of the board you're painting. This is all right, this size. This is obviously 8.5 by 11. I just filled it out a little bit, and it's perfect for this size painting. But if you want bigger, then you would have to use bigger paper, and I would scan it out. If you plan on using it repeatedly, then I would actually take your tracing and put some tracing paper. You get tracing paper of various sizes, and then just use that. So it goes according to what size of canvas or canvas board you're putting it on. So like I said, this is fine for this size paper. Technically, yes, you could go a little bit larger, really up to you. All right. Okay. The barn does have 2 open doors here, and you would figure I would use black, and I'm not. We're gonna mix. I do have black, but we're gonna mix some colors in there to make it more of a gentler black. So I've made this black. This is obviously black marker, permanent marker. You can see how dark it is. I'll zoom in. I think I can do that without messing things up. And I can also turn this. Bear with me here, so hopefully I don't mess nothing up too bad. I keep thinking I'm going the right way. I'm not. I gotta go the opposite way. And then I'll touch it, and you come back and focus. See? Presto changeo. All right. So, jet black. All right. Not getting any darker than this, really. All right, but we're gonna use more of a gentle black for this. All right. Okay. We'll use smaller brushes for this. I know I tend to use flat brushes. It's just what I'm accustomed to. You can use a round brush or whatever to do this. You don't necessarily have to use a flat. Okay. It's just I'm used to it. I'm accustomed to it. Let's get a little bit of cobalt blue, which is not really the strongest blue in the world. We're going to use a little bit of black in that cobalt blue. Okay. A little more black into the cobalt blue. Once again, I want more of a gentle tone of black. Let's try this. I'll get a little touch of water there. Just loosen it up a little bit. It's a 1/4 inch flat brush. Actually, I just brought it because I beat down my other ones. I don't use the most expensive brushes in the world because I do have them. I got brushes that are like 40 bucks a piece, and them things fell apart. Oh, they sucked. So, and I think I have a video where I just talk about that brush terribly. I just drove it to the ground. Okay. Now I'm putting my hand on here. You don't really see it, just to make sure it's pretty dry. And then I'll just carefully block this in. There is, you can see the blue into that black. So it's a much kinder, gentler black that I'm using for this. But you can see, compared to the jet black you see on the barn. Okay. Now, in case I mess up and not really get it exactly as even, that's okay. It can be wiped away. Unless I'm going to paint something over it, to which I probably will anyway. Which is that little divot right in there, but that's okay. I still got more blue, black stuff here. I'll just wipe that off right there. Then I can straighten that out. I'll just kind of dig into it like that and straighten that out. If you're nitpicky like that, then you can pretty much do something like that. All right, let's use this, and we'll just kind of block this in. Once again, it's more of a gentler black. Okay, got a little bit of that bluish in it, that little bluish green, so it's a little easier on the eyes. And if you notice, when I zoom in, obviously you see less of me, which is a good thing. I never really intended to have my face on camera much, but people asked me why don't they see my face, so I had added the camera, and then it was a hassle trying to get that right. But sometimes I'll use the camera, sometimes I won't, all depends. Okay, something like that. When it dries, once again, it's a much gentler black. All right, so we're all good. It's cool. All right, let's play with the barn a little bit. I'm not going to use glycerin. I'm going to use this brush here for it. All right, I'll put it in focus a little bit. There you go. I'll use this guy. And I'm gonna just rub some color on there, but I'm gonna use water, so it will be like almost like a watercolor. And I just want to put different shades of different types of color into the barn. I'm gonna see, I guess I'll have this be the no, you know what? Let's go different. Let's just have this side be the lit side this time. Let's try that. Get a little water, get a little bit of ochre. Okay. Water the ochre down a little, like this. Just water it down. And we're gonna take it and we're just gonna kind of brush on that color like this. And we're gonna come in there. So we'll have this the lighter side. Why not? And just kind of rub that on there, here and there. Okay. let's get a little more water. I'm gonna take a little touch of brown, just a little touch. We'll come up on the top here. We'll kind of add that in there like this. So we'll just lighten that up a little bit. Good thing about adding colors like this in this fashion with the water and the acrylic is that you can pretty much wipe some of that away. But it's so light that let's say if you go beyond the borders and you hit the trees a little bit, no big deal. You can just wipe it away. Okay, it's all right. All right. Even on the trim there, if you got it on the trim, it's all right. You can either wipe it away or you paint over it. It's fine. You'll be okay. All right. And we'll just let it dry a little. Over here, we're gonna go a different route. We'll use the water. Now, the reason why I'm using the water is because once you put your different colors and your shading in, it dries like that. All right, so it works to your advantage. Once again, this blue isn't the most, it's not the deepest blue in the world, okay? So you can usually go a little heavier with this blue. And we'll just kind of shade it in here. Put a little bit, usually coming out of the shadows, you add some of this blue up under here. Like that. And we'll go straight up and down there. All right. And you just let it dry. Let's add a little bit of we'll add a touch of red in there. Please apologize for my hacking. I'm slowly getting out of this. We'll go into a little bit of red. We'll put it right here. Very powerful color, that red. Go a little bit of brown in there, a little brown and red. Okay. And we'll rub some of that color on there. Patch it in there like that. You can get away with the makeup brush doing this because omnidirectional, you really don't see any streak marks. I'm just rubbing it in there. You see all the colors and little layers coming through. You know, it makes it look like you're really putting in that work, and all you're doing is really just, quite frankly, you're just coloring it all in. Okay. Yes, I'm going into the black and I'm rubbing all of that in there. Yes, I am. Just like so. And people are going to wonder, how on earth did you do that? I kind of like that mix, so we're going to go with more of a brown. Come back in here. A little deeper red right in there like that. I'm going to add a little bit of green in there. It's going to turn brown again, but a deeper brown. See what it's doing? So I hope you guys can see that. See red in there? Okay. Okay. A little heavier paint. Be careful. You don't really want to cover up all of your shading of your black. Okay. So you lightly pop it in there. But this is the darker area of the barn. And you're just rubbing it in there. Okay. I can come across this way. Once again, you don't really see many stroke marks when you use a brush like this. And I'm very light with the touch. And I'm going in the direction of the grain. So it's up and down from the bottom going up. So it kind of fades it in naturally. across here. That's solid. Come out here. Where you see the darker wood grains, you can add some of that color in there. Like so. Put it on the edge so there's a distinct left and right side. Follow me? But you're covering all of that white. Wherever you see that's white. Alright. Where it's dark up here, add some of that brown. Scratch it in really lightly. Okay. I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to just rub it right into that dark. There. Now you can kind of see what's happening, what's going on with it there. Okay. It's really fun to do stuff like that. You can definitely see a lit side. You definitely see a dark side. Okay. Make sure you clean off your brush very well. Especially brushes like these. They'll last quite a while. These are synthetic also. Let's take I don't know if I destroyed this one or not. It doesn't seem to be in its best shape, but I might be able to get away with it. I'll take some red, a little bit of water. Since I don't necessarily have a red roof up there, I'll just trim it in red. Another advantage to working with water is the water, once again, dries ridiculously fast. I'll just do the trim here in red. My dog. You know, dogs have an incredible internal metronome. Now, he's been taken out earlier, so technically he does not have to go out, but it's right around the time now for his walk, and he knows it. So you probably hear his nails hitting the floor. His nails got to be trimmed, but he's expecting to go out for his walk. So what he actually did was come in, look at me, and then he turned her left. So that was his way of saying, get the hell off the board, take me for a walk. Peasant. I'm going to take a little bit of ochre with the red. Okay. And we're going to do the lit side with this color. Once again, the advantage of working with acrylics and water is that it dries ridiculously fast, so you're able to really get this in there. All right. Now you see it sparkling like that because the light in back of me is actually on this side of the board. Okay. All right. Let's rough up this roof a little bit. And we use some of this darker color. We'll stain it a little bit. And I'm going to stain it in the direction of the angle. And just rough it up a little bit. Something like that. Don't make it, doesn't necessarily have to be all pristine. Okay. All right. That was kind of harmless. It wasn't too bad. Let's pull pull back a little. And we'll move it back around. Well, I think we're pretty good there. We will put the focus back on it. All right, so you kind of see it kind of sort of coming together there a little bit. All right. We have different planes of stuff going on here. Okay. All right, dry. All right, except for that little line there, but that's all right. Other than that, it's pretty much it's all dry. Okay. Dry. All right. One of the advantages of using water with acrylic paint, it does dry. All right, so we're good. I want to add. So let's look at this between this and this. Okay. I can add some slight fog going through here, and I'll probably do it in a way where it would be about this high, comes across, goes behind the barn, goes across like that, which brings this further away, that a little bit closer to us. You follow me? All right. I don't see nobody talking. Is anybody here? Say hey, say hi, say hi. All right, so let's do that. Let's do a little bit of that. I just want to see if there's anybody still watching. Hey, Bruce, what's going on? What's going on, boss? All right. Yes, Jessica, you're making your presence known. How you doing, Bruce? You're not late. You didn't know I was coming on. I knew I was coming on, but I just didn't know what time really. I'm taking a little bit of blue, a little bit of white on a very, very tiny brush, about an 1/8 inch brush. All right, and I'm rubbing most of it off. I know it's ironic. You guys see what I'm doing here. I'm just rubbing a lot of it off. Let's go over here in this little corner. Let's see what we can do with this. This is dry brush. Okay. Ah, yes. I like that. I'll turn the brush around. This doesn't look like much. I know it, but you can see that, can't you? It doesn't look like much, but keep going at it. And I'm just gonna be nice and trail it. You want to see the stuff. You want to see it, and yet you don't. You want to have it just about visible. Okay, you don't want it too thick. Get a little more white, pop it in there. A little touch of blue, faint touch of blue. You're gonna contaminate that white a little bit. All right. Then you wipe most of it off. And when you wipe it off like that, it's ridiculously thin and it dries in an instant. But that's kind of what I'm looking for, because you want I'm flipping the brush over as I'm doing this. I'm using the flat of the brush. I'm making sure I don't have any hard edges. Okay. Make sure if you do this, you do it with a brush that you don't want to be good friends with, because it will get wrecked eventually. Okay. Now, to make your mist, your fog look really good, you're going to end up doing it in layers. Okay. Once again, it's pretty thin. All right, even if it's not, you just do it very lightly. Okay. And once again, you don't want any hard edges. Some of it's a little higher than others, some of it's a little lower. Oh, come on here a little bit. You definitely want a path. Once again, you don't want a hard edge. You want to be able to see stuff through it. Got me? I didn't want it too low to where it's touching the ground. Okay. Now that you see it here, right? both sides of the brush. All right. I know all about that cleaning thing, bro. I gotta do that. Well, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what we call a junk drawer, where all the old adapters and wires go to rest, their final resting place. Well, I've got 2 drawers full of that. 2 drawers and a closet over the years. So my cleaning day will involve all 8 hours. It will be a full day of doing that. Now, when you're going behind an object, like you see here, once again, I don't want it too low. Okay. But you see it, there's a continuation there. So once again, that brings this guy out front. All right. Okay. I'm just thinking about something real fast. I'll give it a try. I'll wing it. Just see what happens. A little dot of blue. I will always contaminate this white with just a little bit of blue. It is just a sneaky little something above here. If somebody notices it, cool. If they don't, that's also cool. But you know what's there. All right. But you got a little bit of something hovering over there. Don't necessarily have to have it there. But it's just something, put over there. All right. All right. All right. All right. There we go. As I'm looking. Let's take some water, a little bit of white. We'll put it right here. Small touch of red. It's going to turn it kind of pinkish. It's more of a glaze than anything. I still want that a little more on the red side, so we're going to come back. We're going to add a little more red to that. That's not red enough. That's a little better. I just wanted a little more red, that's all. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, that's enough of that. All right. Let's add, let's add some. Nah, that won't be any fun. If the light's coming here, that's no fun. See, if the light was coming in the other direction, then I could add the shadow going this way. But the light's coming from here, you won't have any heavy shadow here. It would be actually be behind on the other side. I can probably get an angle here, but it won't look right until I put something there. All right. So let's put some grass of some sort around in here. All right. Okay. Let's play with some colors now. Let's take the palette knife. We'll mix some red in there too. It doesn't matter. We'll throw some green. I think we'll go with green and ochre. We'll scrape up some white. There's not enough white, obviously. I do have mixing white. I don't particularly care for it. I'll use it today. I don't like it. That color blue, Bruce, is cobalt blue. Alright, this is mixing white, which is basically used for doing what I'm doing now, really. It's just to lighten up what I have already, and it does a really good job of it. That's primarily what mixing white is for. It's just to lighten the hue, the value of the color you're using. And if you don't notice, it most definitely did that. Okay, if you see the original color, and there's the green with the mixing white in it. All right, so it does do its job. I'm just not a big, great big fan of it, but it does do what it's supposed to do. All right, I can use, I could use this just to get it done. Once again, I'm not a big fan of this kind of, but I'll use this. Use this brush for it. Usually we use plenty of, I don't have enough. I know I don't, but we'll just use it. Okay. We'll get some quick grass ground cover going here. All right. The light is coming from this side, so your light, and let's start here with this little hilly part right in here. Okay, we'll just kind of tap away. The light would shine right here. Okay. It would actually shine. You can have it, now you can have it go as far down as you want. Because now this is the side of the hill, so it kind of taper off. Okay. So I'm establishing right now where this is the side of the hill, right here. So it's actually going down in that direction. And you can kind of see that, where it's kind of heading. Turn the brush around, I got more of that green here. And go right off the page with it. Okay. It's all in the front of this guy here. Let's get some more. Just tap, tap, tap away. And you see I don't have it really super gaudy, not necessary. But you know that the brighter grass is in here. All right. Let's get a little bit of mixing white. We'll put it right in here. Touch of green. A little more mixing white, just pop it in there. All right. Let's see if I can get away with it. Boom. A couple of light touches back there. Something like that. We'll come right back here, add some back in here. Just be careful. Just be careful. You can wipe some of that away there. Thin that out. We'll build some of this up here. Yeah, we're all right. We're good. Let's put some bluebells in there too. Why not? Let's clean off this green. I'm gonna use the same brush. Let's scrape some of this away. We don't need that too much. Let's get rid of this. Use the same brush. We'll just get some blue. I don't have enough mixing white. We'll use the mixing white. We'll lighten up a little bit. Mixing white will lighten your colors, but it won't necessarily make it opaque at all. Use a little more mixing white. So we'll get some mixing white, dip the mixing white in there. And it's like that. And you see the color shift. Alright. That will make nice color for bluebells. Open up the bristles a little bit. Oh, let's put some bluebells. We'll pop in a couple over here like this. And we'll pop in a few in here like this. Maybe in the shaded areas we'll kind of put some in here. Like that. Over here we'll pop in a few. Fade it right into that green a little bit. Okay. You know, I can get away with that a little bit. Let's get some darker ones right in here. Around the edge. Water's edge. There's a reason why they're a little darker here. Not necessarily going up that embankment there. We'll keep it right in here. Alright? Okay. And we'll pop some darker ones back here though. Alright. Alright, we're going to brighten up this grass a little bit, a wee bit. Then we'll go on to the trees and such. Poor Ted. He needs a jar of Beano. We'll go with cad yellow right now. So we use a little bit of cad yellow. Just a little bit here. And we'll make a return with the titanium white. Yes, Maria, mixing white, yuck. Exactly, my sentiments, exactly. But you know, I went to the art store, seen a large tube of white, the brand that I use, and snatched it, bought it, took it home, mixing white. Not the first time I've done that. Yeah. What can you do? What can you do? All right, a little bit of titanium white. We'll put it in, we'll put it right here. A little bit of yellow, and we'll put it right here. Touch of green, put it right there. Mix it all together, like that. Nice little highlight. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's play in here. This little dot. If you get a little intimidated with putting that first batch down, don't be. especially where you kind of know where the highlights are. Bring some of it downward. There's no glycerin on my page, or on my board. This is wet on dry. Let's have this go up a little higher up here, and then we'll kind of bring it out like that. A little higher up here, like that. Let's bring some of that love here too. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. As long as it's a little wet, you can get away with it. Just want to establish where it is back there. All right. I can get rid of all of that and just keep what I want. Okay, we're not too bad. We're not too far off. We're pretty good here. All right. So, things are starting to somewhat come together here. All right. Incorporate this into the barn, into the painting. All right. We're looking. All right, we're good. I pretty much strayed away from doing things like this. I shouldn't, really. I do. It all depends on my mood, because I don't really stick to one subject, really. But if I tend to stray away from a subject for a while, I'll come back to it every once and again, So I decided to do the barn thing once again. All right. Now, on something like this, I really don't want to use too much red. Red kind of draws your eye like a magnet, which is why I only got that little one strip here. For the dilapidated looking barn. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Let's get with this edge. So you will still want to establish depth even in your little pond here. All right. A few ways to do so. We'll take, this would do. This would be cool. All right, let's take a little bit of green. We'll put it right where the blue is. Doesn't matter. A little touch of black. Put it in there. Need a little bit more than that. Let's kind of get that going. All right, something like this. A little touch of water, not much. Just to loosen it up a little bit. That green might work. It can do to be a little darker. Okay. You gradually add that black in there. All right. Okay. That should work. We're gonna come over here on the edge, right here, and we'll just kind of tap it in there. Just like that, go on different heights, whatever. It's all right. I'm just gonna tap it in there, tap that edge. And then I'm gonna keep this brush straight, even though it's curved on this. I'm gonna keep it straight, okay? Something like so. Then I'll take this brush. It should be wet enough. And we'll kind of give it a nice flick upward. Just like so. Now remember, this is wet on dry. And I'll just give a couple flicks for just weeds, just the shadow of them anyway. I'm gonna still keep it straight even though it's going curved. Just like that. I'll probably get them a little taller toward the middle. We're gonna add other stuff in here, don't worry. And then we'll have it narrow back down over here. It's all right. All right. Okay. You're gonna mimic what you've just done down below. Okay. Very narrow. I'll stand back here. Very narrow, like this. Now I can see I'm gonna need more black in that. We're just gonna get a little black, put it in there. Your reflection down below is a little darker anyway. Okay, and do it again. There we go. That's more like it. A little heavier here. Now, if you want, go into your black and then wisp straight downward. All right. A little heavier here. Okay. Still keeping it straight as I curve this thing around. All right. Let's get a script lighter. I enjoy doing this part. All right, let's take a little titanium white. We'll put it right here. Get some of this green, this light green. Get some water, put it in there, loosen it up. Inky consistency there. You'll be going back into this quite a few times. And we'll do it right around in here. So you're into the dark area there, and you're just gonna take your brush and see this. You'll be doing this a lot. You will get accustomed to doing this. Sometimes you might be a little heavy-handed. It's all right, because you're not used to it yet. But you will be. As it comes towards the middle here, you can get them a little darker, or a little taller, excuse me. And I'll work on that. If you need them a little taller, don't go as fast. You know, take a little time there. Go in the other direction like that. Really put it in there. You'll get accustomed to this. Pop them in there. If you feel it's getting a little, if it's not showing up enough, you can always lighten it a little bit. Now, as I got them a little higher up here, all right. You can start to narrow them down a bit as you go further towards the right. I still got some to go here. I can pop some taller ones in there. And then I'm gonna start to shrink them down a little bit. A little more white in there. A little more water. Script liners work great with watered down paint, obviously. But you don't want it too thin to where the water evaporates and you don't have too much, color left. Hey, Marilyn. Good to see you, Marilyn. Even though you can barely see me right now. My head's a little further back. I guess I can put myself up here like that. Still straight up and down. I'm not really curved, not leaning nowhere. The weeds are still going perpendicular to the page here. You can get them a little taller here if you want to denote an edge right in here. That's fine. All right. It's all good. Still a little shorter. I don't know why I get a kick out of doing these, but I do. Why, I don't know, but I do. Just like that. Okay. All right, here's the fun part, sweetheart. I ran out of my main colors. Kind of, sort of. Well, all right. Well, I can get away with it. I'll get away with it. Just go into our black right in here. We'll mix that right in here. We'll gray it out a little bit, just like that. You see the color difference here. Why am I doing that? Well, your reflections can be a little darker here. And you gotta also remember that green and blue are kind of related, so careful. So you need something a little darker just to kind of relay this stuff down here. And you do it this way. So you gotta have something to kind of go against that blue a little bit. You guys may or may not see this too well. And if you guys don't, I'll lighten it up. I don't really want to lighten it up, but if I have to, I'll lighten it up a little bit for you so you can see it. But they're in there. You should see it against the white here pretty good, because I did put a little black, grayish black in there. Don't try to really mimic every blade. You're just giving the impression of it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to lighten these up a little bit so you can see them. I know you can't see them too well. Get out of there. But they are in there. Have a good night there, Bruce. Appreciate you. So I guess I did burn 2 hours, didn't I? Sorry about that, guys. Okay, as I'm looking at it, for those of you who are diehards, I will put a water line in there real quick. Let's get rid of some of this. Let's take a little bit of this white. We'll flatten it out a little bit like that. Cut across. Even though we have a curve, your water line still got to be straight across. Okay. All right. So let's go over here because we know that, well, it's pretty much somewhat straight here. We're going to take a little brush and we're just going to kind of play around with it here, just like this. Now, starting to curve, you still stay straight. Still stay straight. All right, just like that. Just keep it straight. Now I gotta be careful. It's wet on dry, so I don't have anything to kind of help me out here, but it's all right. Come down, keep it horizontal. You're still going straight across, straight, go straight, 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 just like that. So what you're doing is you're rubbing it hard and still keeping it straight, like a saw motion. Okay, I'll exaggerate some of these. I'll just come right here and I'll just come out and I'll kind of bring some of it, go straight across like that, go straight across, boom. It's got a little glistening on the little lake here, or a little pond, I should say. Very simple, very simple. Just concentrate on going straight across. You can skip a few. See that? Try not to have 10 soldiers. Scatter them a little bit. Come across there. Come from the white and go across. Okay. The more you get accustomed to doing it, you can really have fun with it. A lot of you might be a little trepidation, a little bit, because you're not used to it. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it. All right. All right, that's cool. Fine, that's cool. Let's put a little love in here. We're going to use a larger brush for that. It's a foxtail brush. It's actually a pinstriping brush. All right. When you buy them, if you do get them, I would suggest you do. Here it is wet, and it maintains that sharp point. Okay. We'll go in here to this green black. Take a little bit of black, put it in there, wet it up a little bit. Now this does retain quite a bit of water. It's definitely a different animal indeed. It's not totally black. It does have green in it. Okay. All right, we're gonna come right across the water with it. We'll come here. We'll go smaller here. Careful, because it's like this. Now, if I feel it's too light, and I think it is, I'll add some more pigment to it. Just a little more pigment. So I'm going into this green. This is sap green. The green, mixing it in with this blackish gray here. All right, get a little water, pop it in there. This is animal hair, natural hair. All right, roll that brush. All right, that has more pigment in it. There we go. And you can definitely make larger strokes with these guys. Be careful, don't be too heavy-handed with it, because it can get that way. It can go south on you if you aren't mindful. These are a little bigger, a little thicker, so you can go a little heavier. These are somewhat closer to us. Okay. Go back in, get some more, twirl your brush around. Just be careful, even if it start off kind of light, then you press in a little more. But as you can see, I'm getting them thicker on purpose, coming closer to us. They're gonna get thicker, a little larger, coming towards, because it's coming towards, off the edge of the paper there. And what I'll do is I'll just go slower. See, I'll go slower, it gets a little taller. Just like so. Getting plenty of paint while I'm doing this. And just slower. Your turns are a little more deliberate. See? If the paint's a little too thick, just get a little bit of water. And you can really manipulate this guy to do pretty much whatever you want. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm gonna slowly make them smaller. Okay. I'll thin it out here. I'll get a little smaller here. And I'll bring some off the panel here going downward. And then I'll continue on, continue it here. Like that. And just to be cute, I'll take some white, twirl it around here. So we'll play with some highlights, like this. Come up around here a little bit. Actually, you need to be brighter. I'll just use pure white. Don't necessarily got to clean off the brush. I'll tease some in here like this. Curve it around like that. Come out here a little bit. Probably play around with a couple in here. Like that. All right. Thank you, Maria. Okay. As I'm looking at things here. Okay. Let's add a few, that's gross. That looks so disturbing. Let's add a few trees in here now. Before I add the trees, let's do something else. 'Cause we'll play with a sense of depth and all that good stuff. Let's go back to our brush here. This is a slightly larger one, okay? Let's add a little bit of, we'll play around a little bit of, can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see it around here, right? No, you can't. Just aim this up a little bit. All right, you guys should be able to see that right around in here. All right. I'm gonna use dry brush for this one. So it's a little bit of titanium white, but I'm like really wiping it out of there. Okay. Let's play in here for a second. I gotta place it in a way to where it's still floating. You got me? So I have to picture it right now. Let's put it right here. Right in here. Now, there's a secret to this. I'm starting on the barn here. Okay. Just like this right now. Just right here in this patch, right there. There's a reason for that. Because I gotta judge, I gotta see. This poor dog needs to go out. This poor guy. He should see it. The cat and the dog are like sitting like side by side, but he needs to go out. I'll take him out. Okay, right in here. I have to have it in a certain way, in a certain height, to where it appears to be floating. So I have to do it in a certain way, at a certain height, and have it come past. All right? Don't rush this, whatever you do. It appears that I'm not. All right. I really got to think this through. So as I'm doing it, and you can still see it, me working away at it here, it's got to be at a certain height, and it has to come past the barn, like that. See? So if I'm doing it right, it looks like it's truly missed just going right past that barn. See? Now, I'll travel with it. Once again, this is just wet on dry. And I'm literally just dry brushing the mist. You can have some like come a little higher than others, but it has to go across straight away, straight. Like I say, you can have a little puff come a little lower, a little higher. And basically, I'm just rubbing, literally, just dry brushing this misty stuff right across. Now that I've done this, you've created another plane. What do I mean by that? Creating a plane? What are you talking about? Obviously, I'm not talking about a 747, right? I'm creating atmosphere to give the impression of depth in the painting. Okay. So, you know you have a sky back there. Okay. We all know that. But the sky has been cut short by the row of trees here. Okay. You know, you got a field back there, but you see little bits of highlight. You know where the field stops and the tree line begins. All right. But you have a plane now because you have mist on the back of the barn, which now brings the field back a little bit. So it burned the barn up front. Now the barn is further back, but it's not as far back as the mist because you now have another plane here. Going right across the page, you got a plane of fog here. Or mist, or whatever you want to call it. All right, I had to start here. Now remember, you have different. You got a higher level here, a lower level here. So your barn is not even. It's on a hill, on like a little plateau there. Okay, so I couldn't have the fog way back here. All right, it had to be somewhere in this area by the door and by the corner, going past the barn. All right, so I had to establish that in this area first. Once I established the correct height, then you go across. Okay, now you got a barn in between two fog banks. Okay, I hope you guys somewhat see what I'm talking about. Okay. Some more colors. Nah. You're jumping way ahead. We're just coming into summer and you're talking about fall. No. I believe I did one of those already too. But no fall. No fall. No fall colors. No fall colors. All right. Okay, now I can add trees. I can be very coy and add a few of them in here, in between the fog there, have them just come up. I can do that, or I can have a few here. I can have a couple obscure the barn. The tree part isn't really difficult to do. I can get away with that. I kind of like the openness of it, but I need something a little larger there. So we'll play with a couple of. I haven't done any. I've been doing a few deciduous things here. Maybe I'll do a couple of pines. All right, because I know we're pretty late. Not like you guys are working tomorrow anyway, right? It's good to see you guys. I know Bruce was here. I know Sonia was here. Sonia, she's probably done. That's right. She had her DJ thing, so she probably. I don't know if Sonia's still here, but she must have did it and came back. But we had Jessica, we had Bruce, we had Sonia, we got Marilyn, and Maria. But thank you guys for coming through and saying hey to her brother. Okay. I'm looking for tree placement, really. Oh, this I probably end up. Well, you know what? I don't want to put no. Maybe I'll put a tree of sorts in here. I really don't want to put any bushes in there. And I don't want to put a rock in there either. But I can. Let's do something with that so I can get rid of that. Let's take a fan brush. We'll do it real fast. I will put some grassy stuff in there. I don't have enough green, but we can make some green. We'll take some black and yellow like that. There, we'll make some green real quick. A little more yellow. There we go. We'll use this real fast because I just don't want this plain. All right, so we got some makeshift green, and we'll just kind of pop in some dark in the grass in a hill fashion right in here. Kind of. Right in here. I just want it a little darker. I gotta hold on, Bluto. I'll take you out, buddy. The poor dog. He's a creature of habit. When it gets to be a certain time, he's ready to go. He's ready to go, and I can understand that. All right. So I got a little bit of shadow darkness here. Some texture happening. All right. It's because I really don't want to put typical rock or something like that in there. I didn't feel like this needed it like that. Like I said, I can get away probably by putting a pine or two in here. I could, and have it fade out here. I could do that. But I want a different type of pine tree. So let's work on that. I do have brown, I do have black. We can get away with that. I'll mix those. So let's take a large palette knife. Okay, the rest of the brown here. We'll put it right here by the green. We'll take a little bit of black. We'll establish a nice deep foundation for the pine trees. So we'll scrape up a little bit of this green also. I'm gonna end up getting some more green, or I can make the green with the black and the yellow. But I want a nice little foundation color for the pine trees. And the type of pine trees I want to do takes a little bit of paint anyway. I think that'll work. It's kind of a deep brown, and I think that should work. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take our 1-inch brush here, and let's pop one. Just saturate this brush pretty good. This is the type of tree you cannot have any fear doing. Okay. All right. All right. Let's we'll establish one. We'll establish a smaller one right here. We'll just get a little tap like that. All right, and then I'll go straight on, and then I'll move left and right, coming downward, left and right. As I get a little lower down, it spreads out a little bit, but I'll keep it right about here. We'll keep the body of the tree right in here, something like that. All right, so we got like established a quick one right there, right past the fog bank there. Okay, we get some more, a little more black there. I so want to put one over here somewhere. I really do. All right. Anyway, we established there's one here. just like that, right in here. I had to be kind of slick about it there. I still wanted one there. Okay. Well, remember, this is our foundation color. Okay. So once again, now what happened is that I just pushed the fog bank back more. We had to have him a little taller, right about in here. Okay. So I pushed the fog bank back. His bottom has to be further down than this. So he's still further ahead. That pushes this guy back a little more. All right, so I didn't totally obscure the barn. Okay. So I hope you guys are following me and what I'm doing makes sense to you here. I didn't want to go into that white like that, but I did. It's all right. I might have to, but it's okay. Yeah, we're having a big one. We'll do a Bob Ross. We'll pop a big one right there. Just like that. All right. Okay. All right. So we established at least we got 3. All right. Okay. All right. Let's I'm gonna have to go into another green. If I will. Now remember, the light source is coming from the different direction. The light source will be coming from the right hand side. All right. We're almost done. I gotta clean some of this because one, it looks kind of grody, and 2, we're coming up on the end of this, and I need to establish a different set of colors. So a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That's what it is. I won't use the razor blade. This will be adequate enough for what I need to do here. It'll rub this stuff right off of here. I'll clean it up real fast here, just to get rid of a lot of it. Just clean it up real quick. I just need probably a little bit of green and yellow, and maybe a little bit of blue. But I do want to clean a little bit of this up, get rid of it. It's just me. I just don't like to look at a discombobulated mess. It's not too much anyway. I don't know what exactly they spray on this glass, but it works pretty well. There's a coating on this glass that they put on it, and then I'm really surprised that rubbing alcohol didn't eat it away. But there you go. All right. Let's use we're going to use a little bit of cobalt. We'll put it right here. All right. A little cad yellow. We'll put it right here. All right. I think we're good with that. Let's get a little bit of white and yellow mix. A little touch of cobalt. Let's try that out. All right. And here we go. Remember, it's brighter on one side. A little touch. And we'll just kind of I like the way these come out, really. I like the way they look when I do it like this. Different type of pine trees. Brighten that up a little bit. Don't get rid of all of your dark. Okay. The bigger fellow, you can have a little fun with him. He's a bigger one. All right. And I'm just going to concentrate really on one side. And I don't necessarily have to do all of him. Don't worry, dog. I swear I'm gonna take you out. Now he's giving me the stink eye. I tell you, man, pets, I swear. I'll take big boy out though. He's giving me the stink eye. Okay, so we got some of that going on. All right, let's take some blue. We'll establish a dark half here. I didn't clean my brush necessarily, don't have to. But we are going to establish blue. Not going to get rid of all of that deeper color, but we are going to establish the darker side and bring some of that blue into the lighter side. All right. Careful here. A couple strong taps will help that out, like that. All right. Going to our cobalt pretty good here. You got the other half. Just like so. Bring some of that aside. And don't be afraid to really lay into it when you're this close. And don't get rid of all of that dark. Okay? Don't do that. All right. I got nothing to counter it. It's all right, I'll use this. Cobalt blue is not the greatest to try to blend to make a darker color, so I'm gonna have to use a little bit of black. I'll put it right here, get a little bit of white and a little bit of blue, put it right there together. Makes it real quick. A little more black. It gives me a blue-gray. That should work. We'll cut across a little bit and we'll establish a little bit of, there we go. I know you can barely see it. I don't know if I'll really highlight it too much. Let's start from here. So my trunks are a little bit on the darker side. This is a larger one, so larger tree, so we'll get a more, kind of a larger trunk there. I might tease a little brightness if I got enough paint there. I don't have enough white. Isn't that something? Not enough white. I'd rather do a painting this way, where I don't have, I have to get a few colors, than to, yeah, I'd rather do it this way. And sometimes it just takes a little touch. I don't really needed to see just a little line here and there. Just want to see where I'm at here with this. This one could be a little larger. Just a little bit. Not too bad. All right. So we have fog back here. We got a little bit of fog back here. And I think I want a little bit probably in here. We'll call it a day. All right, let's go to we'll use a round brush. We'll use one of these guys. Big old round brush here. We'll just use a little bit of this. I should have enough maybe to get away with it. We'll find out. Maybe. Right across the water here. I don't have enough white. Would you believe that for the last part of the painting? But it's all right. It's okay. It's all right. A little dot of white there. Some of you who may have lost some family members to the wars, my condolences. I know some of you will be actually celebrating their sacrifice. And they did sacrifice, total sacrifice, when they give their lives for their country. Once again, same premise, just a larger brush. But as you see, it's going over the lake itself. Once again, it's the advantage of having acrylic paint. And you literally take a small amount of paint and you build it up. Okay. No sharp lines. Actually, it can't go no further than this tree. There is no other half of the tree. But this is closer to us, so it's a little thicker. You can still see the grass. You can still see the bluebells. It's just a little brighter, a little thicker. Okay. So be careful in doing them. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Just below the bottom of that tree. Just a little bit. But there is, you have to still establish that there is a path. Okay, it's not going all the way down. It's going right across the pond here. I think we're good. I think I'm gonna call it. I'll pull the tape off. I'll get rid of my face and I'll get rid of that thing. Well, that guy right down there. My buddy from Georgia contacted me. He doesn't know I'm live. All right. I don't really use this too much. I'll sign it with this. It's a paint marker. I'll just use this instead. I'll just sign it with this. I'll put it right here. It'll look like the weeds a little bit. It's all good. Pop it right here real fast. There we go. No fuss, no muss. Okay, time to change the orientation. We'll get rid of, now that I just dirtied this up, I gotta wipe that real clean real quick. And I probably won't need the razor blade because this is all pretty much loose paint. It'll come right off. Now, me being a lefty, I'm going in the opposite direction of what I really should be. I should be going this way. There. Now my garbage can is right directly below the edge of this, the glass here. So I'm just wiping it right into the bucket. It's no big deal. Okay. I just want to clean, it's pretty late for most of you, so I just want to clean this off real quick. And I get to show you how easy it is to do so with a glass palette. Rubbing alcohol in a paper towel. It comes off rather quickly. Really cool. And that's it. That's that. She's ready for the next go around. All right, let's get rid of that. I don't need the picture of the palette. Let's get rid of that. There. All right. So I think you guys can still hear me. All right. Alrighty, let's take the tape off. I didn't reply back to my buddy yet because I'm so close to the end of this. Like I said, the next time you guys see me live, I'll have smaller. I'll work with the 11 by 15 watercolor paper again instead of using these big boards. In case, unless it's something that somebody wants to buy, or they ask me to do something, then I'll use the board. But I'll probably be doing more teaching things with the watercolor paper than to do actual complete paintings. Let's adjust the focus one more time. Like I say, it's a little skewed because the angle of the drawing board is that way. All right, so it's narrow here, a little wider here. That's just the way it is. A lot of the light is hitting on this one side. But I think you guys can pretty much see this about as sharp and clear as I can get it for right now. Bear with me, let me turn this garbage can around. It's facing the wrong direction. There we go. All right. All right. I do have it in focus. All right. I think that's good. All right. Anyway, well, this is it, guys. This is what she looks like. I don't know why it doesn't seem to be in focus to me. Let me leave it alone. I'm trying to get it to focus. These, but you can see the sparkles. The glycerin is still wet up here. Everything else is probably pretty much dried to the little chunks of paint that I put in for the trunks, but everything else is still there. Don't know how many people are left. I said this is pretty lengthy, so but I appreciate those who are left. I appreciate you sticking around and everything. So yeah, this is what it looks like. The barn is actually a lot wider. Okay, so yeah. The clouds look a little more realistic than what I usually do, but it's very simple to do them. You know, take the fan brush and just kind of wisp around. Then I took just a soft brush and X strokes and smooth everything out, get rid of the streaks and whatnot. Everything else was pretty much wet on dry. The water was just, the little pond here was just acrylic paint and water. Okay, and you do your fading and shading while it's wet. Once it's dry, it looks just the way you see it here. Okay. Hopefully, if I take a good enough picture of it, you'll still see the long grass through the fog. You know, you got 1, 2, 3 layers of fog going on here. All right, so you got different planes You got a great depth of field. The arrangement is cool. Even though we're getting large here, going smaller here, you still got even your rule of thirds going on here. Okay, so you've got all sorts of stuff happening in this. Nothing's directly dead center. All right. The only thing that would be considered the middle of this board would probably be here. Everything else is either below or above. Okay. But you still got everything's still in its thirds. You got the upper third here, lower third here. A little bit lower than the third is the barn. So everything's placed where it pretty much should be placed. All right, enough of my babbling. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you guys. I shall see you when I see you. Take care. Enjoy your holiday, or you celebrate your loved ones that may have lost their lives in whatever war they were in. Just be safe. Take care, and I'll see you.